So we only have less than 43 days to go till Brexit. And with the Liberal Democrat conference that happened earlier this week, we saw a bit of a policy change on Brexit. They moved from calling for a people's vote, a second EU referendum, to completely wanting to cancel Brexit by revoking Article 50. Now, this has caused a bit of an issue within the Remain side. There is now a massive split and division within various Remain parties and campaign groups. Let's start with the official campaign, People's Vote. The People's Vote campaign is a group of people who never accepted the referendum result because they claim that people usually don't know what they're voting for. But their solution is to have a second referendum where we get the people to vote on the same question. Now, the head of this campaign group, Tom Baldwin, is not too happy with Jo Swinson, the leader of the Liberal Democrats, for changing the policy of the Remain side. So he's been asking to start planning to essentially get rid of the Liberal Democrats from the People's Vote campaign. On the other hand, James McGrory, another member of the People's Vote campaign, who used to be an advisor to the former leader of the Liberal Democrats, Nick Clegg, is now defending the Lib Dems within the People's Vote team, and he's trying to basically save them from being kicked out. Now, what's interesting is that James McGrory, until this day, has been defending his position on the People's Vote and the second referendum. But because he's a Lib Dem, he has a soft spot for Jo Swinson and the whole party. This is a quote from James McGrory. "Brexit is a big deal and it shouldn't be left to 650 MPs. But now he wants to cancel Brexit using the same 650 MPs. Now, moving on from People's Vote, let's have a look at divisions within other campaign groups and parties. Change UK. Change UK, as you remember, was a new party that was created by a number of MPs that left the Labour Party, the Conservative Party, the Liberal Democrats. They created a new campaign group and then it turned into a political party, and they stood for the European elections, and they are currently polling at 0%. Now, the leader of Change UK, Anna Soubry, said in response to Jo Swinson's new policy to revoke Article 50, "Simply to revoke Article 50 without a further referendum, as my Lib Dem colleagues believe and have adopted as their policy, is simply wrong. Dressing up the policy in clever semantics about hypothetical and fanciful situations are lost on an electorate tired of politicians playing politics and not being honest with them. The Lib Dem policy of revoke without a referendum stokes fears that they have not learned from the mistake of tuition fees, that they will again say one thing to win a vote, but when in power will do something very different." Ooh, that hurts. The British people need honesty and clarity, and we are clear. We need a people's vote, with a responsible deal versus Remain on the ballot paper. If voters chose to leave, then at least they will have given their informed consent to Brexit. But now let's move on to the Liberal Democrats, because they were the ones, after all, that started this division within the Remain side by coming up with this new policy to completely cancel Brexit. Chuka Umunna, one of the members of the Lib Dems, who used to be a member of the Labour Party and then defected to the independent group, which then turned into Change UK, and then he defected to the Lib Dems. So I'm guessing within the next couple of weeks he's going to be joining Green Party maybe, I don't know. But he, quite interestingly, has said that he's always been wanting to stop Brexit in a recent interview at the Lib Dem conference. But we also have an old footage of him.
And our suggestion of the trajectory that we go on as a country, which is we've always been clear. One thing I think you acknowledge, I've always wanted to stop Brexit, and that's been the goal.
MPs have to pay attention to the results.
I'm glad you said that.
Which, although it wasn't overwhelming, was a clear result. But
right, so no veto. Let's be absolutely clear.
I don't think that would be a good look for Parliament. The people have spoken. I think it'd be rather patronising to pretend that somehow we know better.
But you think that's bad? The leader of the Lib Dems, Jo Swinson herself, said this week at the Lib Dem conference in Bournemouth that she would never be able to forgive David Cameron because he gave us a referendum on the EU membership. Watch this and then watch the following clip, which is Jo Swinson from back in 2008.
No, I don't forgive David Cameron for calling the referendum. The Liberal Democrats would like to have a referendum on the major issue of in and out of Europe. It's on the issue of in or out of Europe. But what I would also say to the Honourable Gentleman, the Liberal Democrats would like to have a referendum on the major issue of in and out of Europe. It's on the issue of in or out of Europe. For too long, power has been concentrated in those who are appointed, not elected. And the structures of the EU have often proved cumbersome, to say the least, at times even making this House look modern and streamlined by comparison. No easy task.
Now, when it comes to the Lib Dems, the division and confusion over this new policy of revoking Article 50 is quite deepening. One of the Scottish MEPs, Ms Ritchie, has explained that if the public vote for the Liberal Democrats, the party will revoke Article 50, but the Deputy Leader, Ed Davey, has said that she's confused and that the party are campaigning for a people's vote. The Scottish MEP has added that stopping Article 50 wouldn't be the end of Brexit, and she insisted that politicians must work with the public amid the Brexit crisis. But Mr Davey said that the party is continuing to campaign for a second referendum. We have not said that we will have a people's vote and then we will revoke. We have said that we will revoke. If you vote Liberal Democrats, you will get the revocation of Article 50. That's the policy. However, when asked if the Liberal Democrats would hold a second referendum following the revocation, she added, "I don't think the revocation of the Article 50 is going to be the end of this story. We have had the most destructive 5 years of constitutional mess in Britain." Her comments came as Deputy Leader Ed Davey said that the party are campaigning for a people's vote up until a general election. He said that, "I think she's got a little bit confused. The party's position is really clear, I think, and that is up to a general election. We remain campaigning for a people's vote." Oh, I know that the Remainers keep changing their policies every 10 minutes, but seriously, it was all over the papers. You were sitting right there when Joe Stevenson announced it. Really? Now, moving on from the Lib Dems, next is Gina Miller and her campaign team. Now, as you know, Gina Miller is a millionaire businesswoman who is a massive Remainer and has been trying to stop Brexit since day one. She's had a lot of massive financial backers behind her, and we have a situation for Gina Miller. Despite her powerful financial backers, Gina Miller is now begging the public to give her money. Millionaire Remainer Gina Miller begs for cash in bid to halt Boris Johnson's Brexit. Gina Miller, the millionaire Remainer lawyer, is begging for cash online in a bid to halt Boris Johnson and his plan to carry out and complete Brexit. Now, she's seriously asking for £200,000, and it looks like she's actually about to exceed or has already exceeded that target. So, well done, Gina. What are you going to do with this money? Because it's all a waste. And finally, the Labour Party. They're not having a good week either. Jeremy Corbyn has once again changed his mind and changed his policy on Brexit. He has tweeted that Labour will stop a no-deal Brexit, deliver a public vote and put power back into the hands of the people. But that's not the end, because he has also said that when he is Prime Minister and when we have that second referendum, he's going to be neutral. Corbyn has said that I'll stay neutral and let people decide on Brexit. The Labour leader's call for a sensible deal is signal to party that he will resist call to pick sides. So just to clarify, Jeremy Corbyn has moved from, back in the 70s and 80s, from being an anti-EU campaigner to, when he became party leader in 2015, being a pro-EU campaigner. And then when the result came out in 2016, he accepted the result until then, a couple of years later, asking for a people's vote, and he said that he would campaign to remain. And now he's finally said that he just doesn't want to be involved anymore. This is a reaction from Owen Smith, his former challenger to the leadership of the Labour Party. Better late than never on a people's vote, Jeremy. But reports show elsewhere that you plan to be neutral on Remain versus Leave. This can't be right, can they? You surely can't be present but not involved on the biggest issue of our era. Yeah, it's all a bit of a mess for the Remainers at the moment. And this is coming at a time when the no-deal Brexit option is becoming more likely. The signals and hints that we are now getting from Brussels and the European Union is that they're not really keen on giving any other delays or extensions to the UK government, even if Boris Johnson is being forced by Parliament to ask for one. Now, Boris has also said that he's not going to ask for an extension even if he's forced to. Now, considering he's not going to actually break any rules, hopefully, I think they have some plans and they have some tricks up their sleeves. So let's just wait and see what the UK government and Boris Johnson does, because as far as we know, we are leaving in less than 43 days. Now, as you know, on this channel, we cover this on a daily basis at 6 p.m. UK time, so make sure you subscribe and click on the notification button next to it, otherwise you won't be notified when I release a new video. And if you want to follow me on social media, Twitter and Instagram, you can find them down here. As always, I'm Tousi, and this is the fastest growing centre-right channel in the UK.